Once upon a time, in a quiet Filipino village near the foot of misty mountains and beside a sparkling river, there lived a humble woodcutter named Juan. Juan was poor but honest, living with his wife and children in a small bamboo house with a thatched roof. Each day, he went to the forest with his worn wooden axe, cutting firewood to sell at the market so his family could eat simple meals of rice and dried fish. Though his clothes were patched and his hands rough, Juan carried a heart as clear and good as the river he loved. One morning, when the sun was gentle and the mist still clung to the trees, Juan walked deep into the forest to cut wood. Birds sang, and the scent of damp earth filled the air. He found a tall tree by a clear stream and began to work, swinging his axe steadily, though sweat already darkened his shirt. But as he chopped, the handle of his old axe slipped. With a sudden crack, the blade flew from his grasp and tumbled into the river with a loud splash. Juan gasped and ran to the water's edge, but the current was swift and the water deep. His only tool, the one that fed his family, was gone. Juan sank to his knees in despair. "Oh, what shall I do?" he whispered. "Without my axe, I cannot cut wood. My children will be hungry." He sat by the riverbank, hands covering his face, his heart heavy with worry. As he wept, the surface of the river began to glow softly. The ripples turned to shimmering light, and from the water rose a beautiful spirit, the guardian of the river. She wore robes the color of dawn, her hair long and dark like the depths, her eyes gentle and wise. In her hands she held a golden staff that sparkled in the morning sunday. "Juan," she said kindly, her voice like running water, "I have seen your honest heart. Tell me why you cry." Juan bowed his head respectfully. "Great Spirit," he said, "I was cutting wood to feed my family, but my axe slipped and fell into the river. Without it, I cannot work." The river guardian smiled softly. "Do not worry, kind one. I shall help you." She disappeared beneath the water, and after a moment she emerged holding a gleaming axe made entirely of gold. Its handle shone like the sunday. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Juan's eyes widened at the dazzling tool. He had never seen so much gold in his life, but he shook his head. "No, Great Spirit," he said firmly, "that is not my axe. Mine was old and plain, made of wood and steel." The spirit nodded and sank below again. When she rose, she held an axe of pure silver, shining like the moon on calm water. "Is this your axe?" she asked once more. Juan swallowed hard. The silver axe was beautiful and valuable. Yet again he bowed his head. "No, Great Spirit, that is not my axe either. Mine was simple and worn." At last, the spirit smiled with joy. She disappeared once more, and when she returned, she held Juan's very own wooden axe, wet but familiar. Beside it, she also carried the gold and silver axes. "Your honesty has touched my heart," she said. "You could have claimed wealth, but you spoke the truth. For this, I shall give you all 3 axes, your own, the silver, and the gold. May they bring you and your family peace and plenty." Juan fell to his knees, tears of gratitude shining in his eyes. "Thank you, noble guardian," he said. He took the axes humbly, promising to use the gift wisely. That day, he returned home, not only with firewood, but with hope and blessings. His wife wept with joy, and his children danced when they saw the shining axes. Word of Juan's fortune soon reached his neighbor, a greedy man named Pedro. Pedro, unlike Juan, was dishonest and selfish. When he heard how Juan had received gold and silver for simply telling the truth, envy filled his heart. "If honesty made him rich, I shall pretend to be honest and take even more." Pedro sneered. The next morning, Pedro took his own axe to the same river. He swung it only a few times before pretending to lose it. With a loud, fake cry, he threw it into the water and sat dramatically on the bank, moaning and wailing. "Oh, what shall I do?" he shouted loudly, hoping the guardian would hear. Sure enough, the river began to glow once more. The river guardian rose from the water, serene and beautiful as before. "Pedro," she said, "why do you cry?" Pedro bowed, though his heart was false. "Oh, great spirit," he said, pretending to sob. "My axe has fallen into your river. Without it, I cannot work." The guardian disappeared, and soon emerged with the gleaming golden axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked kindly. Pedro's eyes glittered with greed. Without hesitation, he cried, "Yes, that is mine." The guardian's gentle face turned serious. "You lie," she said, her voice echoing like thunder over water. "This gold axe is not yours." She sank beneath the river and returned with the silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked again. Pedro, still greedy, nodded quickly. "Yes, yes, that is mine." The guardian's eyes grew stern. "Once more you speak falsehood. Neither gold nor silver belongs to you." She vanished under the waves, and when she rose again, she held nothing, not even Pedro's own axe. "Because you tried to deceive for gain, you shall have nothing," she said. Then, like mist under the morning sun, she disappeared. Pedro leapt to his feet in shock. "Wait, my axe! Give it back!" he shouted. But the river only flowed calmly, its surface sparkling with quiet truth. No axe returned to him. He stomped and shouted, but nothing changed. His greed had cost him everything. Pedro returned to the village, empty-handed and ashamed. His neighbors shook their heads, whispering about how greed leads to loss. Meanwhile, Juan used his blessing wisely. He shared food with the hungry, helped repair homes after storms, and taught his children the value of truth and kindness. Though he now had gold and silver, his greatest treasure remained his honest heart. And so, parents in that peaceful village began telling their children the story of Juan and the River Guardian. They taught that honesty is a light that guides and protects, while greed is a shadow that takes everything away. They whispered that if you work hard and stay true, the river's spirit might just smile upon you too. On warm nights when the moon reflects silver on the water, and fireflies float like stars between the trees, families remember Juan's story. And perhaps, if you listen closely by a quiet Philippine river, you might hear the guardian's soft laughter, watching over honest hearts.